Hello everyone, welcome back to Rails Refactor. I know it's been over 2 years since I made part 2 of Rails Refactor, and since then I've learned a lot working as a software engineer full-time, and after 2 years I've set out to create my own business teaching programming to people who want to build their dream software and learn to gain financial freedom. This is now the third part of Rails Refactor, and it is going to focus on test-driven development. In parts 1 and 2, I showed you how to take a pro HTML template and make it work with a Rails application and creating Rails layouts and views with that. In part 2, I showed you how to register users and save them in the database and log in with sessions and create user sessions. In this part 3, I'm going to show you, and you will learn how to create the same session-based user application, but using test-driven development. In the last few years, I've really learned to understand that test-driven development is the most effective way to build a software engineering team and to build a software product that can stand the test of time. Test-driven development means writing tests about what kind of functionality you want your application to exhibit, and then writing the code. That way, whenever someone, maybe you in the future or another person on your team, decides to make a change to the code base, if they break some of your functionality, your test will tell them and they will be able to fix it before deploying that breaking change to the production environment. This is super important and a skill that took me years to understand and fully appreciate. Now, the Rails framework, Ruby on Rails, offers excellent testing support, and there are multiple tiers of testing. We will start testing from the outside of our application inward, which means essentially specifying the types of pages and requests we would like to make to the application and the expected behavior when, say, we try to register a user via a form, or when we try to log in a user. How does the session work, and what the error edge cases are. There's also a tier for testing database records and models, which we will explore as well. Test-driven development is key, and that's why I've chosen to spend the last part of this 3-part series on TDD. All right, let's get started. The Ruby on Rails guides has an excellent framework for, or excellent documentation for test-driven development. And if we look at our Rails application here, we have several types of tests. So in the test directory, there are controller tests and model tests, which I find to be the most important, though integration tests are also key. And if you have things like mailers, which send emails to your users, you can test the mailers, and also you can test things like helpers if you have view helpers in your application. And the Fixtures Directory is where you can add test data that you will want to use to create your tests.